British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.
Hello, welcome to Canary Wharf, the heart of London's business district. It's an awesome sight on a summer's day, and its vital stats are as impressive as the buildings themselves. 90,000 employees working in 14 million square feet of office space, dealing in billions of pounds in dozens of currencies across the world. But for one night, the focus shifts from financial muscle to fast-twitch fibres as 100 triathletes gather to trade in their most precious commodity, speed. It's round 3 of the British Triathlon Super Series, and by the end of tonight, the city executives won't be the only ones toasting the end of another good day's work, because the champagne is on ice for the male and female winners of the second edition of the GE Canary Wharf Triathlon. The inaugural event 12 months ago really captured the business world's imagination, and once again thousands have descended dockside to gain a glimpse of some of the sport's finest swim, bike, run exponents. In an environment where speed of thought and quick reactions can influence global economies, it is perhaps fitting that the format of today's races is just as short, sharp and intense. It's knockout races lasting no more than 20 minutes, and it's fast and furious from start to finish. The settings, format and crowd drew a world-class field last year. In fact, the Australians Erin Densham and Brendan Sexton took double gold for the Wallabies. But in this summer of Union Jacks, the Olympics and the Jubilee, it's about time the best of British reminded the rest of the world exactly who's at home. In this show, we're focusing on the women's races, so let's join your commentator Patrick Winterton for a lowdown on how it all works.
There is only one heat in the women's event, and the top 15 only will go through to the final. It's a very, very quick race indeed, a fast start essential. 400 metres of swimming will take just over 4 minutes. The bike ride, it may be flat, but it's very technical, and then they finish it off with a 2-kilometre run. And it's the person who's saved most on the previous 2 legs who's likely to come through. After Blenheim and Windsor, Thompson, McLaughlin, Robson, the top 3 in the Super Series standings. The defending champion Stimpson in 6th, ahead of Sophie Caldwell, one of the bright juniors in the British squad. And Britain really are the envy of the world as far as their triathletes are concerned. And Georgia Taylor-Brown is one of the up-and-coming stars. 18 years old now, the European junior champion, very much the next generation. She'll find herself with some stiff competition today, and some of that is going to come from the Australians. Van Coevorden is one of 3 very talented Australians. Ashley Bailey, second in the Junior World Championships, and Charlotte McShane, who's experienced the atmosphere here in London before.
Last year was such a great race. I really enjoyed the experience. We were looked after so well, and just the atmosphere of the whole race. It was such a cool experience, and I don't know any other race where this happens, and especially for it to be in London, it's pretty amazing.
A high-flying lawyer turned high-powered triathlete, Gillian Sanders from South Africa, will be looking for victory today.
I didn't race this race last year, unfortunately. I'm really happy to be racing. It's such an awesome venue. It should be a great atmosphere. But it's my first race of the Super Series this year, so I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting. I think quite tactical as well, because you obviously have to be aware of where you are in the heat.
Sanders very much representing the older generation in this race, as is Liz Blatchford of Great Britain. And with Jenkins, Holland and Hall all putting the finishing touches to their Olympic preparation, it is Blatchford who flies the British flag here today. She can certainly win this one today, but she has to get through the qualifier first.
It's really intense and like you can't make any mistakes. It's pretty cutthroat. Some of the girls, really know how to put it down on that swim to bike transition. So hopefully I'll be up there pushing it and get a little group away. It'd be nice.
With thousands drawn to the dockside for the action, it was a thrashing mass of arms and legs at the start of the women's heat, as those who could do so tried to get clear of the melee. No problem for race favourite Liz Blatchford, or for the strong swimming Australian and British youngsters, but for some of the run specialists like Gillian Sanders, the swim was bound to be a bit physical.
Because it's short, I'll be able to obviously maintain contact, so hopefully it should play to my advantage. But you never know how fast these little juniors swim, so we'll find out.
The pace was fast and the Brits were dominating. Henderson leading the way, chased by 17-year-old Sophie Caldwell, a European silver medalist who already had a 2012 Super Series podium at Blenheim.
I'm really looking forward to the format of this race. I raced a cup race last year out in Hungary with a similar format of heats and final, and I think it will suit me better because moving up from youth, we raced Super Sprint last year, so hopefully it will work in my favour a bit.
It was a good start, but at the end of the city swim, the margins were small. Time to pick up commentary with Patrick Winterton.
It's Katie Henderson, a brilliant age grouper, who is out of the water first in the qualifying heat. A little slip on the ramp. And the drills start already. Off with the wetsuit. And of course she is switching to the bike. A short run into the transition area. Great applause. What a fantastic atmosphere they've generated here at Canary Wharf. Henderson first in, Blatchford, Taylor Brown, Van Coevorden is there as well. Caldwell, the youngster, well positioned after that first swim. Blatchford in pink, needs a quick transition just to put herself in a strong position. Charlotte McShane of Australia. Now it looks as though the zip is stuck. It is. That is going to cost her valuable seconds. And in this sort of a race, you cannot afford a single mistake. Good transition from Blatchford, she's away. Van Coevorden drops a couple of places. There's Sinead Thompson, who leads the Super Series after 2 events and is coming out in around 7th, 8th, just behind McShane, who's failed to put on a helmet and has taken out Thompson. Well, that's appalling drills from McShane, and it's Thompson who pays the price. And even at this early stage, I think it's safe to say that neither McShane or Thompson will finish in the top 15, and they won't feature in the final here in London. Liz Blatchford should. She's got a lead of 50, 60 metres at the start of the bike ride and can now decide what she does.
After 2 laps, Blatchford was in a front pack of 6 and letting Australia's Van Coevorden do the work. Easily in the front 15, Liz's work was done in the qualifier.
The first one I'm going to do as little as possible, so if it's all together in the first race I don't really mind. I'm just going to do, if it's 15 that get through, if I come across 15th, that's fine. And then just save it all for the second race.
That front pack had grown by transition 2, and this time it was Sophie Caldwell taking the lead in the changeover. The very professional 17-year-old led onto the 2K run ahead of Blatchford and 20-year-old Australian Ashley Bailey, a world silver medalist who was enjoying the cheers of her fans. Along with Blatchford and Britain's Katie Hewison, she was closing in on Caldwell. Hewison is the world duathlon champion and on her day would have the firepower to outrun anyone here.
I basically took a bit of time out from triathlon at the back end of 2010. I just found I was getting incredibly injured. I got very frustrated with it and not afraid to say anymore that I did run away from my weakness, which was the swim. But on the back end of that gave me a world title. I won the World Duathlon Championships and fortunately again got another stress fracture after that. So that's forced me back into the pool and I'm definitely getting my love back for the sport again, and I'm really happy and enjoying where I am. And yes, that's brought me to Canary Wharf today and see where I'm at and just give it a good go.
It was Blatchford and Bailey giving it a go at the end of the 2K, racing for the best position on the pontoon in the final. Blatchford edged her out, but Bailey's sprint signalled her intent. Caldwell and Hewison both qualified easily, as did South African Gillian Sanders with an effortlessly fast run split. Van Coevorden, Moana Veal, the American Whitley and Georgia Taylor-Brown would be others to watch out for in the final.
Well, some of the luckiest people here are those taking part in the team relay, because it means they can access the same course as the pros. The emphasis is on fun, but people round here just can't help their competitive instincts. Even if the distances are only half as much as the distances for the elite athletes, there's still enough time to exhaust the body. And most of these teams coming out of the local offices here at Canary Wharf. No transitions, just a straightforward handover. But speed, the essence of this game, and some great performances being put in. Simon Jackson taking the win for the Dream Team, 13:35, the winning time.
From Australia, Ashley Bailey. From England, Katie Hewison.
Well, the action continues thick and fast here, because now it's time for the final of the elite women's race. Liz Blatchford is in pole position for Great Britain, but there are some very talented girls in this race who could challenge her. Let's get straight to your commentator, Patrick Winterton.
The 15 best have qualified for the women's final, all looking to increase the value of their stock here in London. Read nothing into the qualifying times. It's all about the next 28-29 minutes. Liz Blatchford of Great Britain winning the qualifier, gets pole position at the start of the women's event and gets a very good start as well. Dropping back a little is the Australian Ashley Bailey, known as Ash the Flash, and she looked pretty sharp in the qualifiers, finishing second behind Blatchford.
I suppose you come into this event and you know that there's going to be a heat and a final, so while you're in the heat you're telling yourself hold back. It's a little bit hard, but no, it's pretty easy actually.
Can you close the gap on Liz Blatchford in the final?
We'll see. I think I can.
A group of three up the front at the start of the women's final, rounding the buoy. The inside line absolutely crucial. The masses behind are in danger of missing out on the front group in the second phase. Here are the leading three: Blatchford, Taylor-Brown, Caldwell in the middle of the three with the gold stripe down her arm. And looking very good for 17 years of age. She is a really promising star. Good technique from Blatchford, a good grab of the water. Technique so important in the swim. Out of the water, Blatchford, Taylor-Brown, Van Coevorden of Australia starting to pick it up. Caldwell in 4, Bailey of Australia in 5, with the purple stripe down the arms. So it's Blatchford who leads into T1. Remember, she had a lead coming out of T1 in the qualifier. Similar position for her. Taylor-Brown in second. Van Coevorden is the first of the Australians, followed by Caldwell. Ashley Bailey making her presence known as she comes into T1 and accelerates past the young Brit. Blatchford, a former World Cup winner, proves that she's still on very good form when it comes to transitions, and she's earned herself a little bit of a gap going onto the bike. Here come the rest. Taylor-Brown, followed by Bailey, and the Australians there in numbers. Missing, of course, McShane, who didn't qualify after that mistake earlier on today. The best of the Americans is followed by Hewison and Sanders. Now those two side by side, they could work together and will have to if they're going to close the gap down on Blatchford. Now Blatchford took it easy in the qualifiers, so she cycled with the pack. She could do the same, but it's a big decision to make. 9 laps, 10 kilometres. If she goes it alone, it would be a very brave decision.
So Liz Blatchford first out onto the bike. Can she stay there? Can she keep it going? Join us after the break to find out.
British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.
Welcome back to the heart of the city for the GE Canary Wharf Triathlon. It's the second year of this short, sharp format, and the elite women's race is well underway, so let's get straight back out to the action. It took only 2 laps for the chase pack of 9 riders to catch Blatchford, with Liz sitting up and waiting for the inevitable in the end. It had been a scramble for some to get onto that pack, though Katie Hewison was well into lap 3 and only just fixing her feet into the bike shoes. But she'd made it to where she needed to be. So far, so good for the duathlon champion.
My race tactic is just to get as good a swim as I can, and I'm just going to fight the whole way around. I'm pretty sure I'll be on catch-up from the swim, so I'm just going to hit the bike and the run as hard as I can and see where it takes me.
The squealing brakes were a signal that this wasn't only a test of legs, heart and lungs, but technical skills too. As the crowd roared them on through every lap, Hewison was often at the front and demonstrating she didn't lack ability in any department.
I think that's part of triathlon. I think we're all used to riding laps. A lot of the courses on the ITU circuit and things are all laps, so that won't be different. I think there's a lot of corners involved. My cycling coach worked it out as 39 corners, so 39 corners over a 10k is a lot of cornering, and it's going to be quite technical from that point of view. So it's just making sure you're in a good position and out of trouble.
She was doing just that, while the Aussie trio were the instigators of some new world disorder in the lead group, working as a team to break away and emulate the glories of 2011.
I don't know what it is about you Australians when it comes to this event, because Brendan Sexton and Erin Densham did a Wallaby double on us last year.
Yeah, it's such an amazing event. It's so much fun, and I think we come here and we just thrive on the atmosphere and just love it. That's why we do so well, I think.
Bailey and her teammates were aggressive at every opportunity. Would all this effort pay off? Pick up race commentary in the closing stages of the bike with Patrick Winterton.
Less than half a kilometre to go before T2, and the Australians who've worked so hard have not been able to break away. Van Coevorden, Ashley Bailey, Moana Veal, all taking their turn at the front, but they haven't got free, and you could argue that their legs are going to be in worse shape than anyone else's. Now it's a chance for the runners in this pack to come through. Blatchford would certainly fall into that bracket. Hewison also. In fact, she's a former fell running champion, so watch out for her. And in fact, she's made a move. She's moved up on the right-hand side as you look at it, in the black suit. We've got Bailey in the Australian colours on the left. Blatchford in the middle, looking very, very focused in pink. Off come the shoes, and the feet going down just before the white line, cutting it fine. Blatchford's already proved today that she's very good at the transitions, and if she can get a lead of 2-3 seconds coming out of T2, it could prove decisive, because the run here in London is only 2 kilometres, just over 6 minutes. Hewison going for the wrong bike rack, but no damage done at this stage, and in fact she's lightning quick through the transition and comes out ahead of Blatchford. Now that really does put Blatchford under pressure. She'll be well aware of Hewison's running prowess. These two have a lead of some 10 metres over the group, which is led by Caldwell. Van Coevorden is there for Australia, Whitley for USA, Bailey, Sanders, all in that chasing group. It's a strong field. This race is far from over. Hewison looking very focused and very fresh at this stage of the run. Blatchford in second, Caldwell still hanging on to third, ahead of Moana Veal. And then we have Sanders of South Africa, who looks to be struggling. She's got flat feet, heavy legs, and hasn't gone through T2 too well. And Hewison is applying the pressure, and as she does so, the field is starting to be strung out. This is brilliant running from Hewison, who was so delighted to come out of T1 in a good position. Ashley Bailey in 5th position at the moment, just ahead of the former lawyer, Sanders. Those two have let a gap of 20 metres open up between themselves and 3rd and 4th. Caldwell leading Moana Veal. And then up the front, it is still Blatchford and Hewison, but they are not making life easy for those in their wake at the moment. And just look at the stride opening up for Hewison.
After lap 1, Katie Hewison looked like she had plenty left for the last 1,000 metres. Liz Blatchford might still hope to catch her, but couldn't ignore the threat of Moana Veal, who was up to 3rd, ahead of a struggling Sophie Caldwell. that was the podium now, but with the lungs bursting and the lactic acid burning, anything could happen in that final kilometre. Let's rejoin commentary with Patrick.
Pacing such a crucial part of any triathlon, and just because this is a sprint, it doesn't mean you don't have to save something for the run. Moana Veal has done well so far, sitting in third, but Sanders of South Africa, who's worked in London as a lawyer and is very familiar with these streets, seems to have recovered and had a second wind as she closes down on the podium positions. But there's no way she's going to catch Hewison, who's having an absolute flyer here at Canary Wharf. Brilliant performance from her. Here's the battle for the third position today. Moana Veal dropping back into fourth as Sanders, one of the veterans in the field, applies the pressure. The work rate has suddenly gone sky high for Sanders, and you have to respect that because she looked to be really struggling at the start of this 2-kilometre run. The smile is as wide as the Thames on the face of Hewison, and so it should be. This is an outstanding performance. Former fell running champion, she's a brilliant duathlete, and today she proves that she is every bit a triathlete as well. When she gets her swimming to the top level, she will be unbeatable. Brilliant performance. Liz Blatchford, she must have thought she had the winning here, having cruised home in qualifying, and now must fight off Sanders to hold on to that second place, because Sanders leaves Australia's Moana Veal back in fourth position. So no podium for the Aussies this year, having taken the victory last year. What a race, what a race. This sprint format surely is here to stay. And where better to host it than Canary Wharf? Georgia Taylor-Brown coming in to finish 7th, just behind Sophie Caldwell. Ashley Bailey of Australia in 5th, and Tamsin Moana Veal in the end having to settle for 4th. But the day belonging to the Brits and Katie Hewison. Wow.
Wow, yes, wow, I'm shocked. I really didn't expect to win today. I was just grateful to get to the final, and there's some great athletes here, and, you know, they gave a really good race, so it was really, really exciting.
And you must have thought that Liz Blatchford was in for an awesome day, because she led out onto the bike and then let the pack catch her, so amazing to go past her.
Oh my God, I just, you know, for me to get to the front pack, that never ever happens unless it's a duathlon. So to be in the front pack on the bike, it was just, yeah, happy days.
Well done.
Thanks.
I didn't know what to do on the bike, whether I should go on my own or sit up and wait, and I don't know, I ended up sitting up and waiting, and I don't know if it was the best tactic or not, but I'm still happy with the race. It was fun, fast hit out, and I enjoyed it.
Well done. Great, well done.
The pace was absolutely ferocious.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very, very tough. Higher intensity than what I'm used to. Yeah, I'm not used to sprinting 2Ks at the end of a race, so no, it's good fun though, I loved it. And this venue, it's great, so wonderful race all around.
The women's results see Katie Hewison on top, 28.14 the winning time, a full minute quicker than the qualifying time. Blatchford in second, Gillian Sanders of South Africa in third. And in the Super Series, after 3 events, McLaughlin ahead of Robson, and Sophie Caldwell leaping up into third position today.
So congratulations to Katie Hewison taking her first title here at Canary Wharf. We still have some unfinished business. We need to find out who's going to take the honours in the men's race. Tim Don's looking good, but there's some really stiff competition, so we're in for some great racing in that one. Do join us next time on Channel 4, but in the meantime, bye-bye for now.
British Triathlon, proudly partnered by GE. Imagination at work.